I was only 17 years old when my parents made a decision that changed my life forever. They did not sit me down. They did not leave an address. They did not even say goodbye. While I was working a late shift at a diner, they packed everything they owned, drove 2 states away, and left me behind with nothing but a single note on the kitchen counter. The note contained just 4 words: "You will figure it out." For years, I believed those words were the cruelest thing my family had ever done to me. Then, 12 years later, one unexpected letter revealed who had actually written that note, and suddenly everything I thought I knew about my childhood fell apart. My name is Faith Mercer, and this is the story of how my own family abandoned me, how strangers became the people who saved me, and how the ones who left eventually came back asking for everything. When I unlocked my front door that night, the house felt like a ghost town. Every piece of furniture was gone. The family pictures had been pulled from the walls, leaving pale outlines behind. My bedroom was the only room untouched, which somehow hurt even more because it meant they had packed around me while I was at work. I called my mother over and over, but she ignored every call. The landlord later explained that my parents had told him I would be staying with relatives until graduation. The problem was nobody had bothered telling me. Looking back, I realized the warning signs had been there all along. My father had lost his factory job. My older brother, Caleb, became addicted to painkillers after a football injury. Every dollar, every sacrifice, every bit of hope in our family somehow flowed toward him. I worked after school and saved nearly $2,000 for college, only to discover my mother had taken every penny from my brother's rehab. She looked me straight in the eyes and calmly said he needed it more than I did. That was the day I learned there were 2 kinds of children in our house: the ones who got rescued and the ones expected to do the rescuing. When the lease expired, I had nowhere to go except an old storage unit listed on a forgotten receipt I found in the garage. Inside were all the things my parents no longer wanted: an old couch, broken furniture, Christmas boxes, and forgotten junk. That storage unit became my home. The property manager quietly looked the other way and even left me a blanket outside my door one morning without saying a word. My school counselor made sure I stayed enrolled through a homeless student program, helping me graduate with honors and keep my scholarship. Without those strangers, I would have lost everything. For years, I worked 2 jobs, attended community college, and slowly built a cleaning business from an old auction van with nearly 200,000 miles on it. I called the company Brightline because I wanted boundaries my family never respected. 1 customer became 2, then 10, then hundreds. Before long, the business had grown into a successful restoration company with employees who became the family I never had. One employee changed my life more than she probably realizes. Dana became my operations manager, my best friend, and the person who started our Thanksgiving tradition. Every year, anyone with nowhere else to go gathered around paper plates in our break room. Looking around that table, I realized family is not always the people who raise you. Sometimes it is the people who simply refuse to leave. Everything changed after my company helped restore a flooded children's hospital. A newspaper wrote an article about our work, and someone shared it online. Within days, it reached Tennessee, where my parents had been living all those years. My mother commented publicly that she was so proud of her daughter. Then she called me as if no time had passed. She talked about my father's failing heart, my brother's recovery, and my successful business. She never once apologized. Instead, she proudly repeated the same words she had left on that note 12 years earlier. "We always knew you would figure it out." A few days later, my parents showed up at my office carrying hospital bills and mortgage papers. They wanted me to help pay for my father's surgery and co-sign a loan for a new house. According to my mother, family takes care of family. I asked her one question that stopped the room cold. Where was family when I was sleeping in a storage unit? She looked genuinely confused because she had never once wondered where I had lived after they abandoned me. That night, my aunt finally told me the truth. My parents had planned the move for months. Every excuse, every secret phone call, every packed box had been part of the plan. Then she revealed something that shattered me. My mother had never written the note, my brother had. Days later, I received a letter from Caleb admitting everything. Our mother dictated the words while he wrote them, because neither parent could bring themselves to hold the pen. He confessed my college savings had been spent on his failed rehab months before they left. Then he wrote the sentence that changed my life forever. "They did not leave you because you were strong. They called you strong because it made leaving easier." Before I could even process that truth, my mother launched an online fundraiser accusing me of abandoning my sick father. Clients started asking questions. My reputation was suddenly being attacked by the very people who had disappeared from my life. Instead of arguing online, I hired an attorney and sent a cease and desist letter ordering my parents to stop contacting me and stop spreading lies. Signing that document felt like saying goodbye to the 17-year-old girl who had spent 12 years hoping someone would finally come back and explain why. The final confrontation happened at my aunt's house. My mother expected forgiveness, financial help, and my signature on the mortgage papers. Instead, I calmly told everyone where I had actually lived after they left me. I described the storage unit, the old couch, the strangers who cared more about me than my own parents ever had. Then I handed my father an envelope. Inside was confirmation that I had already paid every dollar for his heart surgery directly to the hospital. He would receive the treatment he needed, but my mother would never have access to the money. Then I looked at her and quietly repeated the words she had once left for me. You will figure it out. Months later, my father's surgery was successful. He sent me a short handwritten thank you card that I still keep today. My brother and I eventually emptied the old storage unit together, and for the first time in 12 years, I handed back the brass key I had carried everywhere. When that metal door closed for the last time, so did the chapter that had defined my life. People ask if I ever forgave my family. The truth is, forgiveness was never the hardest part. The hardest part was accepting that I did not need the people who walked away in order to have a complete life. Today, every Thanksgiving, my employees, my closest friends, and anyone with nowhere else to go gathers around one table. Nobody has to earn a seat. Nobody has to prove they are worthy of being loved. If there is one lesson my story taught me, it is this. Being the strong one should never mean being the one left behind. The people who truly love you will never use your strength as an excuse to abandon you. They stay, even when staying is difficult. If you have ever been the one forced to figure it out alone, I hope this story reminds you of something important. You are not defined by the people who left. You are defined by the life you build after they are gone. And sometimes, the greatest revenge is not making them regret losing you. It is building a life so full of peace that you never need them again.